I'm Lisa K. Donner, along with Jeff Charles, Sarah Cowgill, Tim Donner, and Joe Schaefer. And this is the Conservative 5, Liberty Nation TV's online news program. Millions of people tune in every 4 years to watch the peaceful transition of power. Others enjoy the entertainment of the many inaugural events. This year, as one can imagine, was decidedly different. From the speech behind chain link fencing and the presence of military in every nook and cranny, the pomp and circumstance looked a bit like a banana republic after a sketchy election. What the heck was that all about? Sarah, as big events go, this seemed as lackluster as the Biden campaign itself. What, if anything, are your takeaways? And am I right? No inaugural balls?
No balls for Joe Biden. No balls. And that's, from probably people going, I don't want to buy a $10,000 dress and show up with a mask on.
But that's what runway rentals is for.
Exactly. Takeaways, I absolutely have to give Lady Gaga the biggest shout out. She delivered the best national anthem I think I've ever heard. But after that, it was pretty much what we expected. Almost 20 minutes or 20 plus minutes of Joe Biden saying unity, 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 united, unity, unity, united.
Well, he didn't stop to say healing, healing, healing.
May I take exception to one thing? I still think Whitney Houston's rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner in 1991 at the Super Bowl still has to stand number one.
I still like Gaga. Gaga blew me away. But
1A and 1B.
That blew me away. Everybody else, and I will give a shout out to our newly minted woman of color vice president. She looks pretty spiffy in that purple outfit she had on. The rest of the women, heck, I don't even know what Joe Biden was thinking. I had somebody was watching on Facebook said, was the line at Supercuts too long because her hair was so messed up? And it just cracked me up. So, unity, bad hair day for Jill. Kamala looked pretty fetching in her little purple outfit, and Gaga. That's all I remember about Joe Biden speaking is unity, 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 unity.
I'll say one thing, though. I mean, and this is a confession, but I think Kamala Harris looks beautiful no matter what she wears. But I have to say that Tariq Nasheed came out on Twitter and just clowned Michelle Obama, saying that she was looking like Nick Fury from the Avengers movies, that she was wearing his getup, basically. And when I look at the picture, I was like, oh, dude, yeah, you're right. If what she was wearing was all black, she would look exactly like Samuel L. Jackson in like a female version of Samuel L. Jackson in the Avengers.
I've attended inaugurals and or inaugural balls for 6 presidents. Nixon's first, Carter, Reagan second, Bush 41, both for Bush 43, Trump sort of. And they all had in common a celebratory mood. Especially when a new president comes in, especially when it's a new president from the other party. But there was nothing like that here. I mean, there was no festive spirit at all at an inauguration for the first time in our lifetimes. And I just wonder if this isn't one enormous missed opportunity for Biden to really set a mood. And the mood that he set with 10 times as many National Guard troops as people attended the inauguration was, dark winter indeed.
Yeah, it's a dark winter. And then you got to give him credit. He actually stayed awake through the afternoon. We all know he had to take steps back during the campaign. I don't think he could have put up with inaugural balls. I don't think he could have showed up. I don't think he could have danced. I think it's, the twilight effect. When you're dealing with, cognitive issues, I think he's done when the sun goes down.
All right, well, let me just say this, since we're talking about who's awake and who's not. Did anybody see Bill Clinton fast asleep during Biden's talk?
I think Obama was asleep too. I think Obama also fell asleep.
All right, Joe, I know you're really into the pomp and circumstance, so give us your take.
I mean, I'm glad you all watched it, so I didn't have to. I ignored it completely.
You're not supposed to admit that, Joe.
The interesting thing to me is it reminds me so much. It's such a charade, everything they're doing, and it reminds me of the Soviet Union in the 1980s. That was the establishment that was clinging to power. And we all thought back then, I was just a kid, but wow, these are aged fossils that the Soviet Union is bringing into power. Chernenko was 4 years younger than Joe Biden. He was 73 when he died, Biden 78. Yuri Andropov was 70. So, we have an even older establishment clinging to power here in America. And what I would like to emphasize is that this is a display of weakness on their part. They're not convincing anybody. Nobody's getting excited about this. They're clinging to power. And I think Joe Biden, as the face of that, is a devastating weapon in the hands of the opposition moving forward. So that's my take on the whole inaugural ball thing.
Well,
yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead, Jeff.
I was gonna say Joe is 100% spot on with that, because they are trying to manufacture excitement over this administration, but realistically, I mean, the media looks like what people look like when they open a present from somebody that they don't like, and it's a present that they don't want, but they have to pretend like they're excited. That's what the activist media is doing right now. And just looking at how they characterize their speech, do you remember in 2017 how they characterized Trump's inaugural speech? It was dark. It was dark. They all use the same language because, of course, they were coordinating on this. But then, fast forward to now, Biden's talking about a dark winter. You don't hear anybody in the media saying that his speech was dark. So this is just yet another example demonstrating what we can expect from the Fourth Estate going forward.
Well, it was interesting because Liberty Nation's Scott DiCosenza was on the ground for the event.
It's my understanding
and it was just overwhelming. 25,000 National Guardsmen. 12 of them were removed for having tendencies toward Trumpism, I guess. I don't know. They didn't pass the what's the test that they give you in
They voted the wrong way.
Yeah, they hold a gun to your head and force you to admit who you voted for. No, I'm just kidding. Well,
anyway,
are you kidding?
Huh?
I think that's more realistic than a joke. I think this is where it's heading. This is where they want it to head. Nicole Wallace on MSNBC last night, Nicole Wallace said Republicans should not be allowed to speak until they assert the truth.
And she was a Republican. I mean, Nicole Wallace was a Republican strategist for years. And once she went to MSNBC, I mean, she turned really into a Stalinist. And now you see it more than ever. You'd think these people would be joyous at the fact that they removed this man who they consider to be evil incarnate. They should be feeling, victorious and joyous and full of hope. And I don't see any of that. I see a begrudging,
They can't do that and control people. You can't be, happy and jubilant and control people. You gotta paint the dark, scary picture where people go, yeah, I'll do whatever you tell me to do. Just keep me safe.
Well, Tim, you mentioned earlier, it was an inauguration of fear. I mean, they were just terrified of the American people. Normally, there are 200,000 regular tickets issued for regular Americans. There were 2,000 total tickets issued for this. Now, you can't just chalk all of that up to COVID. Come on.
Well, I mean, there's no question that what Joe Biden really did was to stoke fear in the hearts of Americans, because he said we have six crises at the same time, any one of which would be of metaphysical significance. He's fearful of ordinary citizens coming to Washington for his inaugural. He's fearful of the Trump people. He's fearful about the climate. He's fearful about our foreign policy. He's fearful about the coronavirus. He's fearful about everything. And that's why my radio show this week, Liberty Nation Radio, is going to be entitled The Inauguration of Fear, because that's what we saw in the person of Joe Biden.
He might be fearing his own mortality as well.
Well,
I mean, here's a 70-year-old guy who had to, shut the shades in the campaign. I mean, if he had had a normal non-pandemic campaign, he wouldn't have lasted. He would never have been able to pull that up. He doesn't have the energy. He doesn't have the strength. He doesn't have the mental capacity, as far as anyone can tell. But there's no way he could go through an arduous process. And somebody on CBS, I don't even remember which dingbat it was, but she said, "What an arduous campaign." And I'm like, what? Where were you? He was in his basement. Everybody, did their virtual stuff. There was no arduous campaign.
And what was the thing about the reflecting pool or something looked like Joe Biden's arms reaching out to embrace America? I forget who said that. I mean, that's right out of North Korea.
Wonderful.
That's right out of North Korea.
they had to shut down public access, unfettered access to the YouTube link because they got so many they got so many dislikes or down thumbs, like 8-1 or 9-1. A down thumb, they had to take it. They had to make it unlisted.
And it wasn't only that. It only got like 3,800 likes. The official White House presentation of the inauguration, only 3,800 people in America actually liked it.
Well, there you have it.
Okay, Jeff, I'm giving you the final word before I close this down.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about the reflecting pool. I mean, I'm surprised that the media didn't claim that Joe Biden got up and walked across the reflecting pool. I mean, it's just, you can see the reality versus the narrative that they're spinning. 3,000 likes on the inaugural YouTube video, that's insane. But if you looked at what CNN is saying, you would think that everybody was just ecstatic and just loved his presidency. But his vote, his supporter enthusiasm was always low during the campaign. And I think we're seeing that now. I don't think that the media is fooling anybody. People are not excited about Biden. A lot may be glad that Trump's out, but they're not excited about Biden.
Honestly, this is one of the most inauspicious starts to a presidential term I've ever witnessed. After watching what can only be described as inelegant, at least we have a starting point in what to expect with a Biden-Harris administration. Now I need to go shop online for a pair of combat boots. That's it for our Conservative 5 panel today. Check out our other C5 shows and segments on your favorite video platform. YouTube, Vimeo, Rumble, we're on them all. As well, Liberty Nation has its own Roku channel where you can see all our TV productions. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember to surf on over to libertynation.com. Sign up for our new member zone, just $17.76 a year. And remember, folks, liberty all the time and everywhere.